welcome to day 2 of the film festival. I'm Jeff Griff, your man on the street, bringing you all the information you need to make the most of your festival experience. Don't miss any episodes. You can catch them at our website, www.chagrinfilmfest.org, or on our YouTube channel. I'm here at the Chagrin Falls Township Hall, 83 North Main Street, so that we can tell you about the CDFF Live on Main broadcast studio. We have, from the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce, we have Jessica Doublejack to tell us more.
Hi, I'm Jessica Doublejack, the Executive Director at the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we're a proud sponsor of the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival's Live on Main, which is in the same building as our chamber office, here in the Chagrin Falls Township Hall. Live on Main is where you can see filmmaker interviews, panel discussions, and special members-only events, including a night where you can meet the chamber. If you want to learn more about where you can stay, play, shop, or eat, you can stop in and visit us or check out cvcc.org.
Thank you, Jessica. You know, the panel discussions are always my favorite part of the film festival, but if you miss them, don't worry, because you can catch those on the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival YouTube channel. And speaking of watching, we've got Lori Dean back with us today to give us some ideas of what the highlighted films are that we might be able to see today.
Jeff. Hi, Jeff. It's great to be back on day 2 of the film festival. Today's films, we're going to see funny, heartwarming, and that show us issues of the world. There are 3 films that are going to be interesting, that may be interesting for those to see. The first film, The Last Bumblebee, shows us how important bees are to our environment and our ecosystem.
First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here. This is by far the biggest turnout I've seen in helping us track down Franklin's bumblebee. Franklin's bumblebee was last seen just up the road where we're going to head in a couple of minutes. And the more boots on the ground, the more people we have looking for this particular critter, the better the chances are.
That's bear. There's a big old black bear that lives down here.
Around a quarter of the bumblebees in North America are facing some degree of extinction risk, and the indication that we have there is that they're just not found in the areas where they used to be.
Many of the bumblebee species are struggling to keep their place in the world.
We just have to ask ourselves, what kind of a world are we going to pass on to our children, our grandchildren? Do we like that picture, or would we like to maybe start changing it now? I think that's kind of an elephant in the room.
It's dangerous. It's really, honestly, quite dangerous.
The other film that I think is fun is The Other Fellows. That's a great film about people who have the name James Bond.
Years on, a Bond film is still as big an event as ever.
My God, it's enormous. I mean, everybody knows James Bond. Everyone's seen the films.
It is a little bit like a plague of locusts. It's crazy with the noise that's created by it.
Most of us know James Bond as the dashing British agent 007, but the real James Bond was a man from Philadelphia.
Just how did Ian Fleming's 007 get his name?
I studied music.
Do you know why we're making this film?
Because you want to know what it's like to be a James Bond.
My name is Bond.
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 Bond. Bond. Bond.
Bond.
Bond. James Bond. Det är mitt liv. Allting som har med James Bond.
You got me an intro for it to be a James Bond is impossible.
Imagine being told the same joke every day for a couple decades.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
And he's like, you're right, and I'm Donald Duck. Get on the ground, get on the ground. His name, in this case, is gonna haunt him.
A name is something that identifies you. All it does is pinpoint where you are. He told me that he would kill me.
använda den i form av att söka efter min far som är försvunnen.
All units, we have a location on a homicide suspect. Name Bond, James.
If I was a real James Bond, I would never got caught because James Bond killed plenty of people and he's still out there. See, if he kills somebody, hey, okay, well, that's James Bond. That's the white James Bond. But the black James Bond, oh, he's doomed.
It has been both a blessing and a curse.
And the third film is an amazing film called Patrick and the Whale. And this film is about a man and his relationship with whales. Really interesting and fun to watch.
I was out at sea trying to find some sperm whales. And then there was one whale that sort of came a bit closer. She was so interested. It's just a level of intimacy that I've never had with any kind of whale before. I was worried that I wouldn't find her, but then she found me. It's certainly one of the most fulfilling connections I've ever had with any animal.
Okay, we're out in the street and we've got questions for our pedestrians that we trap into doing our interviews. So today my question for you is, what do you think it means to the film festival to have a permanent home right here on Main Street in Chagrin Falls?
I think it's great that they're here and active and present. I live right on West Washington, so I walk by their storefront probably 5 times a day, and it's just good to see the activity and that they're here. It's important.
It's just nice. Yeah, it'll be more opportunity for this.
So you can be out on your longboard enjoying the film festival. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Take care.
Well, I think it's an amazing opportunity to expand the program all year round. So it will be a year-round scheduling program. There'll be opportunities to expand more than just the week of the film festival. It will be for a whole year. I love the fact that there's going to be community partnerships with the Valley Arts Centre and other places around, and I think for Chagrin it will highlight the place that the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival has embedded itself in the Chagrin community.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
You.
And thank you. And I'd like to welcome back Sarah, who's in charge of taking care of the filmmakers while they're here. Now, I've had the opportunity over the years to interview some of the filmmakers, and it's always fascinating. Can you tell the audience, and one of the things I find most fascinating, how the filmmakers market their films, or how their films come out of what they have into the community?
Well, they can start by submitting to the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival. Most of our filmmakers are actually not well known, and coming here is perfect for them because we were actually rated in the top 10 in the nation for emerging filmmakers. Our application process is super easy. You just go on Film Freeway and submit your film, and then we take it from there. We go through a very, not rigorous, but an extensive review process. We watch all the films several times and really narrow it down. This year we had over 600, yes, 600 submissions. And then once the filmmakers get accepted and come to Chagrin Falls, we just make it so easy for them. Everyone in the town is so welcoming. We help them find places to stay between our homestay program and discounted hotels. And then once they're here, we accommodate them as necessary. We have special events for them, and then of course the festival.
Well, one of the unique things again is you can come here to town, come to the festival, and you can meet these filmmakers. They're anxious to talk about their films, so take advantage of that. We look forward to seeing you down here. This being day 2 of the festival, I'm anxious to hear about some of the special events we have going on. And with us today, we have Chris Kukla, one of the special event coordinators with the festival, to tell us about what is happening. Hi, Chris.
Hi, thank you very much for having me here today. As a volunteer, our committee starts working as soon as the films are selected. And this year we've planned some really great and memorable events and programs for our members and guests. So today we're going to kick off the day at St. Joan of Arc with Docs and Donuts, a morning out for parents. And with that, we have a really great curated selection of shorts for everybody in the audience to see. And then from there at 11 a.m., so a little bit later in the morning, we're going to head over to the Chagrin Valley Little Theater. And we are going to be seeing a film called The Last Bumblebee. So, and then get this is very exciting. We actually have several different apiarists, did I get that word right? Apiarists, coming from all over Northeast Ohio and bringing their best batches of honey to share with the audience. So that's going to be very sweet.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
So later on in the afternoon, we have two great evening events. One is called Ladies' Night We Call Therapy, and it's sponsored by Susan Metallo of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And it's a chance for you and your friends, well, maybe your wife, to get together and have the night off. And for this, we'll be gathering at M. Bevy for cocktails and appetizers, and then heading to any one of 6 films that evening. And the ladies' pass will be $30. Sounds like fun, right?
It does, and I think my wife Mary Lynn and her friends are going to be doing that.
Yay.
And hopefully you all will be attending as well.
Excellent. Good to hear. Well, Jeff, I hear that both you and I are big racing fans.
Here we go.
So this next event is going to be right up your alley. It's called Cars, Cigars, and Craft Beer, and it's going to be taking place on the patio that's right next to the Chagrin Valley Little Theater. It's an event that'll be starting tonight at 6:30. And for this, we're going to have a fabulous race car parked right there. And we're going to have appetizers, great conversation, and we're going to have craft beer from the Crooked Pecker Brewery. Sorry,
Well,
hard to say.
You hit on all of my favorites, so I know I'm going to be there.
Yes.
And I look forward to seeing
And
some
there's-
of you there as well.
And there's also going to be, followed by that event of gathering, we're going to head over to the Chagrin Valley Little Theater at 7:30 for the viewing of Manziel and Williams and Manziel, Red 5. So that'll be awesome. And even if you're not a race fan, still go, because it's an exceptional film.
Terrific. I really look forward to it.
Excellent.
Let's find out what's happening today with our panel coordinator, Brenda Kane. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Jeff.
Okay.
Oh, we have now 30 filmmakers running around town, and we're so excited that we're going to gather a bunch of them this afternoon at 4 p.m. at the Chagrin Township Hall, and they're going to be with podcaster Megan Moran for her podcast, Mompreneur. Everyone will get the chance to meet the filmmakers, so bring your questions for them. And also remember that when you're out seeing a film, the filmmaker's presence will always be announced at the beginning of the film. So if you have questions pop up about a particular thing during the film, hold on to it, because you'll get to ask the question during the filmmaker's Q&A following the film.
Well, that's awesome, and I'm always amazed how much these filmmakers like to talk about their films. They really enjoy it. So if you see a filmmaker lanyard on somebody walking in the street, don't hesitate to greet them. Welcome to Chagrin Falls. And also, I'm always amazed at how many times the filmmaker goes out to make one movie and ends up with a totally different story. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great stories that they're going to share at that panel. So thank you for letting our viewers know what's going on today, Brenda.
Thank you.
Morgan, today as we were walking around town, we were asking folks what they thought having the film festival with a permanent home on Main Street, what it meant to them and what it meant to the film festival. And literally, it was 2 years ago, nearly to the day, we stood right in the spot and we announced the beginning of the capital campaign. So I think this is a perfect time for you to update us on where we stand.
Yeah, Jeff, it's hard to believe. Like you said, it's been 2 years and we've raised over $1 million. Can you believe it? Really thanks to the generous donors and community members that have come together to support this project. We're so grateful to have a permanent home right here in the village. And right behind me, we'll be doing tours during the week, so we hope people can come out and see the space and find out how they can be a part of our story.
Well, thank you, Morgan, for all your hard work to make all this happen. And for you all at home, we have now a film clip that hopefully you'll enjoy.
For more than 14 years, our community has come together to bring this world-renowned festival to life in Northeast Ohio, where filmmakers from around the world can share their powerful stories. Stories that teach us, move us, and even change us.
I love the whole creative aspect. I love how the community gets involved.
It's just great to see town so alive and full of people.
To solidify its future, the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival launched its first ever capital campaign to give the festival a permanent home right here on the Triangle.
My husband and I started volunteering, selling tickets. I am a supporter of the Chagrin Documentary Film Fest because I am passionate about it.
This new world headquarters will allow CDFF to continue to grow and thrive for years to come, while giving the community a chance to watch, shop, and explore meaningful connections through the art of documentary film.
Very rewarding to see the effort and the time these folks put into these films.
The film festival has grown tremendously through the efforts of Marianne and the people that she has surrounded herself with.
We are so grateful to the many generous donors who came together to help us meet our goal of $1 million. The community support has never been stronger, and with your continued help, our permanent home will become a reality.
People come from all over the world. You know, lots of them come back in the future.
And to quote that great philosopher, Dr. Seuss, "Oh, the places you'll go, everywhere in the world." They brought it all here to Chagrin Falls.
These funds go towards assisting in increased operating costs, staff infrastructure, and our new year-round programming. Please consider making a gift to CDFF's capital campaign. Your support will allow us to deliver this world-class film festival experience to you all year long. We are bringing the world home. Now, let's explore it together.
It's going to be a great day too here at the festival. We sure have learned a lot. I hope you'll join me every day as we explore everything that's happening here at the film festival. On behalf of myself and the entire festival staff, I want to thank you for watching.